should I still consider buying a home in fall of 2022? With mortgage rates hitting 7%, housing affordability is at an all-time low. So one of the questions that everyone is asking us regards to real estate right now, is it still a good time to buy, or do you think we should just wait it out? Let's find out. Here's the answer to this. What is your long-term goal with regards to personal housing needs and wealth creation through real estate? If you ask anyone that has purchased a home 5, 10, or 30 years ago, it's very rare that you will ever hear someone say, I totally regret for buying our home 5 years ago at the price that we got it at. Our family should have never purchased a home back in 1992. We should have just rented our home for the past 3 decades, and that would have been such a wise financial decision ever. This is usually never the case when it comes to real estate purchase or long-term real estate investment. Whenever we look at real estate, whether it's 5 years or several decades, real estate and home ownership has been one of the best investments, not only in terms of personal joy and personal fulfillment, but also a financial benefit. It is said that the average home renter has a net worth of usually $8,000, while a home owner usually has a net worth of $300,000. When it comes to real estate, the benefit of building wealth, tax benefits, wealth creation, home ownership has been shown as one of the best financial investments through the test of time. Looking at the past 5 years, the national average of a home price have changed or increased 64%. That's 64% in 5 years. And here in Washington, we've seen even a higher than the national average, coming in at 82%. And I know there's some of you out there might say, well, that's because we had one of the lowest interest rate in history, and that's why prices and appreciation has grown so much in these last 5 years. You know what? That's a valid point. So let's take a look at a longer period of time and a longer duration. So let's look at a 30-year national average for home appreciation. The 30 years average was even more impressive. So looking at 30 years nationwide shows the appreciation of 290% appreciation since 1991. And then here in Washington, we've seen a 481% increase since 1991. As we've mentioned before, real estate is usually hyper-local, and every state, county, or city will be different. However, looking at the overall appreciation of all the average of homes in the US, I say triple in value is a pretty good return on your investment. Factor number 2, whether you should buy a home in fall of 2022, what is your current living situation? That is the main question. Should you buy a home or not depend on your current living situation. Let's say, are you currently renting a home or living rent-free? I mean, if you're living rent-free and have no interest in building wealth or your long-term net worth, and rather just be like Colin in his early 20s, you know what? By all means, do what makes you happy. However, if you're currently renting a home at the moment, my question to you is, if you were to buy a home and the mortgage is $200 to $400 more than your current monthly rent, I guess the main question would be, when will your current rent catch up to the potential mortgage payment? I mean, that's just real talk. For example, if your rent is currently at $3,000 a month, which is the average rent here in King County, and you're considering buying a house around $700,000 at today's interest rate around 6.5% on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and let's say you get a rate buy down to 5.5%, the principal and interest payment will be around $39.75 a month. And with interest write-off and depreciation and anything else, I mean, that payment could be down to net of $3,500 a month. Let's use today's inflation rate at 8.2%, and the cost of rent has to go with inflation as we all know it. And rent goes up 10% next year. What if $3,000 current rent went up exactly 8.2% like inflation, right? That's even lower than 10%. For example, let's say that rent is $3,000 a month, which is pretty normal for a house here in our county, and that $3,000 with 8.2% inflation comes to be about $32.46 in about a year. And then another 8.2%, that's $35.70 or about $3,600 in a matter of a few years. And that leads us to our next key point, is, factor number 3 is the hedge against inflation. Your mortgage payment is permanent for a set amount of time. Whether it's a 20-year fix, 15-year fix, 30-year fixed mortgage, or even an adjustable rate mortgage, they're usually fixed 5 to 7 years. Let's just be real. Sooner or later, the landlord have to increase rent based on the increase in repair costs, labor costs that's gone up 20% or more, the cost of the paint, the carpet, the flooring, plumbing fixture, and other building material that's involved. And so as repair and maintenance costs increase for the landlord, this will eventually pass on through the increase in rent for the renters and the tenant, which makes it much easier to budget, especially in a time where cost of everything seems to be on the rise. Some items, man, it could go up within hours. Like, hi, I want to buy this TV for $700, and then a few hours later, comes back. It's $900 based on a true story. So again, real estate is one of the best hedge against inflation, like what we're seeing today in fall of 2022. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into our video. If there's any other questions that you have in regards to real estate, please feel free to reach out to us privately. We'd be more than happy to help you and your family and your friends and those that need our help. Once again, have a wonderful, amazing week. Stay safe. Wishing you and everybody a wonderful day. Take care.